I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. Today we're standing down by the Julius C. Wilkie down at the levee in Winona. Today we're also going to experience the sights and sounds of this year's 25th annual Victorian Fair. The Victorian Fair is held in the fall of the year, generally at two sites: the levee beyond the Wilkie Steamboat at the foot of Main Street and the Winona County Historical Society on Johnson Street. I'm standing with Mark Peterson, who is the director of the Winona Historical Society, and the society is the organization that puts on the Victorian Fair. Is that correct?
That's right. We have been for the last 25 years.
What instigated it 25 years ago?
Well, I wasn't here. I've only been here for 18 of the 25, but 25 years ago, it's my understanding that the society was looking for something to do down at the Bunnell House in Homer. And we planned this sort of little Victorian tea afternoon event, and it was very well received. And the next year we did it again, and I guess the year after that it poured rain and they couldn't hold it down there, so they moved the activities here to the Armory Museum, and we had an even bigger event. What we're trying to do with the fair is to put on a quality family event that sort of highlights the heritage of Winona County. We have so many wonderful buildings, and the architecture of Winona is reflected in that Victorian era that a Victorian fair seems very appropriate. The basic element of the fair stays the same. The main entertainment, though, every year, mostly in the music and the kind of special events that we do, is something that we try to vary. This year we had the 1st Brigade Band.
What you will hear this afternoon is exactly what Lee, Lincoln, Sherman, and their contemporaries heard during the Great War.
This is the 1st Brigade Band. We're a collection of volunteers from all over southern Wisconsin, from as far south as Beloit, as far north as Wausau. And we get together and play these wonderful old horns. These are horns that we found that were built in the 1860s and were all played during the Civil War. And we have a good time getting together and playing music of the period and enjoying bringing a bit of history out to people. We think that these are wonderful old instruments that, rather than being stuck in a museum, ought to be out and played like they were built to be played.
But in the Civil War, the band marched in front of the troops all the time. They led them down the road. They led them into battle. It didn't make any difference. So that the over-the-shoulders are horns which blew music back to the marchers. These are basically brass instruments and silver instruments. Brass and silver instruments gives a soft, mellow tone. Modern day instruments are hardened, brass hardened, under flame and heat. But in the Civil War era, they weren't that way. It gives a soft, mellow sound. And that's what blessed my soul. It blessed my soul the first time I heard them. It blessed my soul 5 years ago. It blessed my soul 2 years ago. It blesses my soul in the year 2000. I mean, there's jump tunes, there's up tunes, there's marching tunes, there's brave tunes. And then there's gentle tunes. And then there's sad tunes. Tunes that make you cry.
Our thanks to sponsors.
And I noticed there were dancing tunes, and you're quite a dancer. The Star of the North, a play written by Winona's Lynn Nankiville, was another feature of this year's Victorian Fair.
They sort of tried to capture some interesting early settlement stories about Winona and how it was settled, and the excitement of the sort of river town, and a little bit of Rolling Stone history in there, and some fun stuff from you know, the dancing horse.
But it's not just like the map, Eliza. Have a look. I think we should be way upstream from here. I'm going to speak with the captain.
Why, this valley's as green as the Garden of Eden. And just look at all the mountains. Why, I'm delighted to meet you, Professor. I've never met a presidential candidate before. Or a dancing horse. My name is Eliza.
I was a dancing horse, and yeah, and I was also just a girl in it.
Just a girl. How did you learn how to dance like that?
I took Irish dancing lessons, and yeah, and she's in my class with me.
And what's your name?
Heather Dancingberg.
Say that again.
Heather Dancingberg.
Heather Dancingberg. So you're meant to be a dancer, right? And what part did you play in the play?
I played the dancing horse along with her, and I was also a girl.
Excellent. And what is your name?
Sam Plukaved.
What did you do in the play, Sam?
I was a townsboy.
Townsboy, did you have to sing?
Yeah.
What was it like to be in the play?
Fun.
Is it fun? Great. And what is your name?
Caitlin Eng.
Hi, Caitlin. What were you in the play?
I was just one of the townsgirl.
One of the townsgirls? What was it like to be in the play?
It was really fun. And then me and Heather, Sarah called Heather, and then Heather was at our house, and then we went over, and then I got into the play because I was there.
How did you learn to do that horse dance?
Well, as she said, we took Irish dance lessons, and we went over to practice for a little while just to get some ideas.
Great. Well, you did a great job. And who do we have up here?
Rosie Hessler.
Hi, Rosie. Were you in the play as well? Are you one of the participants at the Victorian Fair? How do you like it?
I like it.
What's your favorite thing here?
To watch the play.
Music for the play, I did a little bit of looking around trying to find all music, tunes, and to some degree songs that would have been around at the time, the 1850s. Not all, I didn't do enough research to know they're all necessarily right here, but they would have been songs that would have been popular at the time, tunes-wise. And then we took some of the words and adapted them to fit the theme of Mississippi, you know, Rolling Stone and stuff.
We'll settle on the banks of the Mississippi, oh, we'll settle on the banks of the Mississippi, oh.
The brand new state of Minnesota! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Something sort of a little different to sort of promote every year is what we start out looking for, and then we sort of build the fair with some of the same elements around that.
Hi, what's your name?
Paul Douglas.
Hi, Paul. What are you doing here at the Victorian Fair?
Just doing a little blacksmithing, just showing the people what the old blacksmiths used to do and how they used to build things out of just a little coal and metal.
Can you give us a demonstration? Ooh, looks hot to me.
There it is. And just striking the steel will change its position and change the design of it. There you go. Put it back in and get it hot again.
So what kind of tools did you make with it, or did they make with this a long time ago?
Oh, they made everything, yeah. Screwdrivers or pliers and tongs, all the hooks and nails and things you see over there, a lot of different things that they made. Everything that was made out of steel came from bar stock, and they cut it down, made horseshoes and everything just with the steel.
That's what your name is and what you're doing here at the Victorian Fair?
I'm Audrey Elmo. I've been demonstrating here for a number of years because my daughter got me involved. And I enjoy showing people the old art.
And what are you working on right now?
I'm making a rug for my sister-in-law's family room.
And where Where did you get the pieces that you're using like this?
Some of my pieces are from old coats, and some are blanket remnants or old wool blankets. It's all wool.
It's beautiful. It'll be warm on your feet in the morning.
Yes, very warm, and they wear very, very well.
Is this a typical type of costume that someone sewing might have worn in the Victorian era?
I think this is probably what a homemaker would wear, especially maybe a pregnant one.
Toy maker Richard Halverson has also been demonstrating his toys at the Victorian Fair for years.
That's all turned out of one piece of wood. You use a special chisel, which has got a hook on it like a parrot's beak. This is all hardwood, and it's all made on the back, everything. And this here, now this would have been featured in the Foxfire books, which were a book about early Appalachia. And then this here is a toy. It's called a pecking bird of Persia. It was later found in Poland. It's called a Polish chicken. This is another one. This is known as a steel worker or an iron worker. And that is an early American toy.
But she makes all of these. She gathers her weeds. She goes out and finds all the bittersweet. And, so I said I'd help her. And it's been fun.
Sweet.
Weather's great. You have to be happy.
Tell me about the food booth. It looks like you have a lot of participants from a lot of the church groups and other organizations in town.
We do, and we found that the fair was growing to a point where in the past the Historical Society and our volunteers all prepared all the food. I mean, they were working late at night making scones and all this stuff, and it just wasn't practical anymore. So we reached out and we invited a lot of the church groups and other nonprofit organizations, service clubs, and they've responded. And we put them all into one tent together, and it works very well for not only for us, but many of them. They look forward to it every year, and for some of them, I think it's one of their big fundraisers for the year. And it gives this kind of local hometown flavor of, the Kiwanis making pork chop sandwiches and the local school making pies and things like that. Mm-hmm. I know it's one of my favorite parts of the fair.
It's always tasty food. Tell me about the juggler. He's been here many years.
He has. He's somebody that David Litton is his name, and he comes from up by the Twin Cities. We sort of latched on to him 6-7 years ago, and he loves coming to the Victorian Fair, and he puts on a great show, and we keep inviting him back.
We're out here at Smith Field. It's the new Smith Field out near the school here in Winona, Minnesota. And the team we're playing is a bunch of young men from St. Paul. They're known as the Quick Steps. Now, if you look back in the history, back in the Civil War, you'll find a lot of the things actually have Quick Steps written in different places. I don't know what a Quick Step is because these fellows certainly are not Quick Steps. They're absolutely not. At this moment in time, during this year in 1863, the Lumber Barons are leading in this match 5-1. We have scored 5 aces to their 1 ace. It's a glorious day out here. I'm predicting that they will never catch up to us. We're going to win this match, and we will make the city of Winona very, very proud.
I mean, if you're looking for a deal, your button will get you into the fair for both days, and it'll get you exposed to all of this. And you can come, and your family can participate in it. Your kids can play these fun games and ride ponies.
Activities, especially for the children, were truly wonderful. The petting zoo had llamas and 2 of the cutest twin donkeys, sheep and goats. Victorian games and activities were introduced, and pony rides were a special hit. Oh, you sell flowers?
Yeah.
And what are you doing now?
We're walking around and playing games, kind of.
Your first and last name is?
Kirsten Schwartz. Emily Brown.
And tell me what you're doing here today.
Well, my mom's in the silent auction tent, and she works here.
And what kind of fun things are you doing?
I just help Emily give flowers and stuff like that.
Oh, sweet. Okay, well, thank you for talking to me, girls. Bye-bye.
It's a fun event, and we do it without, with just family entertainment, and we want to keep it that way.
And Surface, one of the talents at the Victorian Fair. Hi, Pat.
Hello there.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and about your music?
Well, I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I do music that kind of focuses on our region, northern Minnesota, the upper Midwest. My wife and I have just recently relocated to Ely, Minnesota, where we've been building a cabin all summer.
As Pat sings the songs he writes, his wife Donna interprets the lyrics in a dance.
It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
The society's revenue from this is not that great. You would think that something this big and with this much effort would make a lot of money. In the past, we used to make more money than we do now. Our costs from renting the tents and paying for the entertainment and just everything has gone up. We make, on average, about $4,000. We've got the Bunnell House, the Arches Museum, and this Armory Museum. So the money is well spent. It's well needed. $4,000 is still a lot of money. We're pleased if we make that much.
Great. Well, you really do provide a wonderful event for Winona with the Victorian Fair. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, thank you, Joyce.
Okay. The Gate City Jazz Band closes the fair at 4 p.m. on Sunday with its lively Mississippi music. I'm Joyce Woodworth. Thank you for joining me today on the Spirit of Winona when we were down at the levee enjoying the sights and sounds of the Victorian Fair. Till next time, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.